Hello, everybody. Once again, I'm Liam Crafton Jr., aka Zorvachan Less Than Guru, and in today's house rule or tip and trick for Palladium First Edition that I would like to suggest is having sizes determine how much you pay for goods and possibly services. So, as an example, in Palladium First Edition, there's that nice weapons chart and armor chart. I have different videos on tweaks for those, but we're not going to talk about tweaks. We're just going to talk about cost and expense and weight. So basically, in Palladium, you have large races, which are wolfen, ogres, trolls, and then you have the small one, I guess you could say, which is gnomes. I further divide it. I have very small, medium, large, very large in the small category, as well as my analog to gnomes, which I call gelfkins. That's where I also include goblins and other various species that I would consider small. Kobolds I would put in that as well. So I did a thing here. You can see sizes, clothes, and I use this also very simply for other things like how much food somebody needs to eat a day and water or drink a day, which is basically all the prices given are for medium and weights are for medium. And if you're small, it doesn't take as much quantity of material and therefore cost of material to build. I do not change the time because maybe it's just as intricate. You need just as many rings in your chainmail. They're just smaller or something like that. So I don't worry about that. I'm talking about weight and material. And while it isn't exactly perfect because as you increase, it's 3 dimensions, not just 2 dimensions that are increasing, I felt that this would be, it worked well, and it has so far in my game. It also helps with my size dice that I talk about for my weapons, that if you need a large weapon to do more damage, it's going to cost more. So it's some give and take mechanically, materially within the game, even though I'm not trying to do an exact 1-to-1 ratio. And even though my dwarves are height-wise small, dense-wise, and buff-wise, they're wider than that, I consider them medium for cloth armor, etc. So basically, medium weight price is the same, small half price and weight, large double the price and weight. Pretty easy. And if you want to get to the very large, because I have that distinction between large and very large, then I even double that double, so that becomes 4 times the weight, and I have the half, so it becomes a quarter price and weight for very small. Just have it that you have medium, and then half or double depending on which way you're going, and then half and double depending on which you're going there. So a very small would be a fourth, and a very large would be 4 times. So it all fits really well. Here's what I use it for, and so far I've been fine with that. If we go here, it's very similar to my medium and dwarves for hunger and thirst. You're going to need 5 pounds of food. And then small, you're only going to need 3. Very small, you're only going to need 1. And then it doubles large, but then it's only 3 times for very large. So 15 pounds of food for that. Basically, a lot of this, and then the liquid medium is going to need about 3 liters of quarts. Very large, 1.5 gallons or 6 liters. Very large, 10 liters or about 6.5 gallons. And then you divide by half to get small, 1.5 liters or quarts. Quart and a liter are almost the same. It's not enough to nitpick when you're just going with rounded numbers. And very small is a half of a liter or half of a quart. That's worked really well. It's helped also balance those very large people very large species that are going to have that D10 of damage until instead of that D6, they're going to take the cost for armor, for weapons. They're going to have to buy more food, more drink, etc. So it's a different type of balancing. It's not a straight across the board damage to damage. It is damage to materials and cost of living. So that's something you might take into account. It's worked well. The last thing I was going to say is I was really trying to figure out if I could cut down to 5. Kind of seems high, 15, but I did a lot of online Google food research, I guess you could say. And when I was looking at very large, I was looking at things like the larger bears, Kodiak bears, tigers, lions, things like that, medium type animals and creatures, how much you need. Plus, in a medieval fantasy type setting, they're not going to understand as much as we do about nutrition and healthy balances and what can pack calories. So I'm not necessarily doing calories because they're just trying to stay full. This is less of a I'm going to die and more of a I'm really annoyed because I'm hungry. So a lot of these, until it's been taken so far to where they are going to die because you haven't eaten or haven't drank, imbibed enough liquids, that you will start losing your hit points. Until then, it's going to be slightly off. As I hear it, they'll be slightly off during this time because they're distracted by thoughts of discomfort. And that's how some of the things like ignore pain and discomfort, or there's a priest ability that they can ignore pain. That's where this comes in handy. They're used to that sacrifice, that penance of resisting those thoughts and annoyances. So it's kind of all wrapped in one. But that's something that adds flavor to the game, and it adds a reason why you might want to go small, even if you're going to do less damage, why you might not want to always just be a troll or one of the very large races, species, why you might want to go. And if Palladium, if you're just using the normal weapon rules, why you might want to go gnome, because then you don't have to worry about a lot of food or drink, especially if you're going in that dungeon environment, when you're going old school where your supplies and stuff are going to matter, both how long you can be out there and two, your encumbrance, you're carrying it with you. So having said that, once again, I'm Liam Crafton Jr., aka Zorvaltron, Less Than Guru, and until next time, I will catch you later.